Hello Internet friends, my name is Rich. Thanks so much for joining me today on the Toy Isle Alliance YouTube channel. About 2 years ago when The Force Awakens came out, I was super excited, like most Star Wars fans were, and I decided that would be a good time to do a video on my favorite Star Wars The Black Series action figures. And because The Force Awakens was episode 7, I was super smart and witty and decided to make my my list a top 7 favorite Star Wars Black Series action figure list. So now that we are mere days away from The Last Jedi, I decided I would do an updated list of my favorite Star Wars The Black Series figures. And because The Last Jedi is episode 8, I've decided I'm going to do a video on my top 8 favorite Star Wars The Black Series action figures. 6-inch, of course. Now, one caveat I will throw in here. When I did my original top 7 list, all the 6-inch figures were on the table. So whether or not they were exclusive or if they were a deluxe figure that came with a vehicle or a beast, they could all be included. Just to make this list a little more unique, I'm just sticking to regular release figures. So no exclusives and no deluxe figures. So something like the TIE Fighter, which is an awesome toy, that's excluded from this list because it's sort of a deluxe figure. It's not one of the regular release figures. I might do a separate video on the vehicles and things like that. But for the purposes of this exercise, non-exclusive, regular release Star Wars Black Series, top 8. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, at number 8 we have Grito, who is probably best known, this action figure is probably best known for being a major peg warmer. However, the fact that not a lot of people seem to buy him when he was first released should not take away from the fact that he is an excellent Star Wars toys. That is a phenomenal head sculpt, I think. I love the paint on the eyes. There's a little bit of slop around mine, but for the most part, great paint. The outfit looks perfect. The hands look great. The articulation is good. This is, in my opinion, the best Grito action figure they've ever made. So it's awesome to have such a good representation of such a classic B-level character. So even though he was a peg warmer at first, oddly enough, now that he has been clearanced into oblivion, there's actually a little bit of a demand for this guy now because he is a great figure and a lot of people did miss him the first time around. So at number 8, we have the Rodian that did not shoot first, Grito. And at number 7, we have X-Wing Luke. Full disclosure, Luke Skywalker is probably my favorite Star Wars character, but X-Wing Luke is not my favorite version of Luke. My favorite version of Luke is Jedi Luke. So Return of the Jedi, even how he looks now in The Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi. I've always liked Luke when he's full-on Jedi. However, there is no denying that this is, in my opinion, there's no denying, in my opinion, that this is the best Luke Skywalker figure Hasbro has made in the 6-inch scale. It seems like every subsequent Luke they've made, mainly the head sculpts, not so much the head sculpts, but the paint apps on the head and face have gotten worse and worse. Here, there's actually, honest to goodness, effort put in to painting the face. It's not just sort of cast in a flesh-colored plastic. And they actually did some nice shading work on the hair. The outfit is also fantastic. They did a great job on the X-Wing pilot outfit. It came with a decent amount of accessories. Has his blaster, his lightsaber, which you can hang on his belt, or you can put the blade in as well, and a helmet that actually looks pretty decent when it's on his head. So, again, X-Wing Luke is not my favorite version of Luke, but this is definitely the best Black Series Luke Skywalker Hasbro has made. Unfortunately, every subsequent Luke Skywalker, the face paint has gotten worse and worse. So hopefully Hasbro can get back to giving us Lukes that look this good. So there you go. At number 7, it is X-Wing Luke. And at number 6, I'm cheating. Troopers. Stormtroopers and Sand Troopers. When I did my original top 7 list, I actually did have a separate category for the Stormtroopers and a separate entry for the Sand Troopers. But again, just in an effort to get more different figures on this list, I am combining them, and they are very, very similar. I think Hasbro knocked it out of the park with their Stormtroopers, the Sand Troopers and the regular Stormtroopers. Just fantastic. I think these are as good as figure arts. Possibly the proportions on the Black Series Stormtroopers are actually a little bit better than figure arts. I just think they did a fantastic work on these guys. And the articulation, double jointed knees and double jointed elbows. And the trigger finger or the trigger hand has a hinge joint at the wrist, which is awesome. So you can get these guys into some amazing poses. Here is the Sand Trooper. They did a great job on that as well. If you were to ask me which version of the Stormtrooper I prefer, it's the classic look. However, if you put a lightsaber to my head and want to know what the better actual figure was, I would go with the Sand Trooper only because they did a great job on the weathering on this guy. That looks phenomenal. Sometimes on a mass market toy like this, they try to do weathering. It just looks like sort of paint smear that's supposed to look like weathering. This, he actually looks like he's been on Tatooine, walking around in the desert getting dirty. Now, it's not the fault of the classic Stormtroopers. They're supposed to look all white. But I really think Hasbro did a great job on the weathering. I kind of wish the classic Troopers were a little more glossy, but that's really my only complaint about these guys. Now, the backpacks do make these guys pretty top-heavy, the Sand Troopers, I mean, so he does tend to sort of jump off the shelf. Here's the other Sand Trooper they released. But they're still great. And the other good thing, there are slight differences in the armors, and they actually did, like, this isn't the exact same figure, you know, painted differently. It's very similar, and a lot of similar parts, but not exactly the same, so I appreciate Hasbro doing that. So, just another reason that these Troopers are number 6 on my list. And at number 5, I think we're at number 5, from Rogue One, we have everyone's favorite new droid, K2SO. And I think the Black Series Rogue One figures, all of the non-human characters they made were excellent, and some of the best figures that Hasbro has made in the 6-inch scale for Star Wars. Some of the human figures were okay, but their paint apps always, you know, left a lot to be desired. However, the K2SO and all the troopers they made looked great. I talked about weathering on the Sand Trooper. He also has some nice, I don't know if you'd call it weathering or just he's dinged up. A lot of silver showing through, effect of sort of having his paint chipped off. I think that looks fantastic. The articulation is really good. The one thing I worried about K2SO when I got him is that because his legs are kind of skinny compared to his body, that he might topple over. He has fallen over a couple times, but for the most part, those legs are very, very solid. If you have the Black Series IG-88, he does not stand up at all for me because he has skinny legs as well, and they're very rubbery. But he is quite solid. Some of the joints are a little bit loose, but for the most part, he just looks great on the shelf. There is some clear plastic in his joints, and I do worry about that breaking because clear plastic can be quite brittle. However, I'm not going to ding him for something that hasn't happened yet. He has not broke on me. He has fallen a couple times, and he's very solid. And I just think Hasbro did a great job on this guy. So there you go, K2SO from Rogue One. Number 5, I think we're at number 5. We have from the animated series Star Wars Rebels, Sabine Wren, and this is a fantastic figure. She was actually my number 1 Black Series figure of 2016, I think. Great figure. There were a lot of, all the Rebels figures have been really, really great. Ahsoka almost made this list as well. The Hera is really good. Of course, Thrawn is excellent. They're all great. The reason I went with her is because part of Sabine's character is that she is an artist. I mean, she's a demolitions expert. She's a Mandalorian. She's also an artist, and so she does like to customize her armor. And I know Hasbro was really, really proud of this figure and talked about all the different paint applications for her. And sometimes, you know, the best laid plans, we know what happens to those. It doesn't always make it to production. But for the most part, the paint apps on her did seem to make it all the way from prototype to the actual production figure. And it looks great. It looks like she did, there's some kind of paint specs there on her. The boots, some paint on there. You can see where she customized her armor. I think this looks fantastic. The other great thing about her is her scope, or her movable scope. That actually does move, unlike on the Boba Fett, where it doesn't. She has a wonderful head sculpt underneath her helmet. Now, I don't like taking this helmet off, so I guess this is one slight criticism. I do worry that this helmet is too tight and it's going to damage the head if I take it on and off. So rest assured, you can take my word for it. She does have a very nicely sculpted and painted face underneath that. I just almost would have rathered an alternate head instead of the removable helmet. And I know removable helmets have been a staple of Star Wars figures for some time, but I just worry about the paint getting scratched on her head. But otherwise, phenomenal figure. And if you're a fan of the Rebels cartoon, definitely I would recommend picking up this Black Series Sabine Wren. And at number 3, I think I may have said Sabine was number 4 or 5. She was number 4. And here we have number 3. It is Darth Maul. This is a fantastic figure. I don't have all his accessories out, but he did come with an alternate head that actually had his robe attached. So if you want to have Darth Maul with his robe, it also came with his macronoculars. His lightsaber can come apart. He is also very well articulated, double-jointed knees. Does not have double-jointed elbows because of his outfit, but otherwise you can still get him into some awesome poses. I love that head sculpt. I do wish his horns were a little sharper, but I understand there's probably some sort of weird safety reason here. But this is a fantastic figure. They utilize some soft goods just to give him a little bit more articulation in the hips, which I think is great. For the most part, I'm not a fan of soft goods, but I like when they sort of combine it, with the plastic and the rubber. Great. Look at that paint apps on the head. That is phenomenal. Now, there is a SH Figure Arts figure that is better than this. But again, you have to go to Figure Arts to find a better version of Darth Maul. Otherwise, I think if you can get this guy for $20, like his original retail price, well worth it. Unfortunately, you can't get him for regular retail price anymore. He has shot up in value, but definitely a figure that I'm glad I grabbed. He was in Wave 1. Wave 1 was probably the best Star Wars Black Series wave quality-wise, which is kind of sad. The very first wave, had the best quality. But again, the Black Series Darth Maul is an excellent action figure on one of the most popular prequel characters. Here we are at number 2. We have Boba Fett. And as I look at how good a job Hasbro did on Boba Fett, I almost want to say he's 1B, and the number 1 figure is 1A. But for now, we are saying that he is number 2. Look at that. They did a phenomenal job on this guy. Star Wars characters, especially like the helmeted guys and the troopers, if you don't get the helmets just right, the whole thing looks off. And I think Hasbro did a great job on his Mandalorian helmet. Again, the weathering, the dings on his armor looks fantastic. He came with a good amount of accessories. I kind of wish his cape was kind of a softer material or something. It's kind of a cheap feeling fabric, but it looks good, and this figure looks great. Again, his scope isn't movable, but you didn't really see Boba Fett use that a whole lot. I just think this is an excellent Boba Fett action figure. I think it is really accurate. I think it looks almost screen-like when it's on your shelf. So again, he's another guy that's hard to find now. There are knockoffs. There's knockoffs of Boba Fett and there's knockoffs of Darth Maul. I definitely don't advocate knockoffs, but if you see a Black Series Boba Fett or a Black Series Darth Maul on eBay for like $15-20, it's probably a knockoff. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, this is a phenomenal figure. I love the weathering they did on him. So obviously one of the most popular, popular Star Wars characters is an excellent Black Series figure. And at number 1, we have Darth Vader, or Black Series Darth Vader 2.0. This was Hasbro's, sorry, moving my camera. This is Hasbro's second attempt at the most famous Dark Lord of the Sith, and I think they knocked it out of the park. I was talking about not getting Star Wars characters' helmets right. If you don't get Darth Vader's helmet right, the whole thing looks off. The first Black Series attempt at Darth Vader, they gave him a removable helmet gimmick, and I think that may have been part of the problem, but the helmet just looked off. I heard it described as like a sad seal or the puppy dog Vader. This, they have rectified that, and it looks excellent. Good articulation. He's not super articulated, but you can get him into all the Darth Vader pose you want to do. Not a lot of accessories. He comes with his lightsaber hilt, his lightsaber blade as well. But unlike the first Vader, you couldn't put the hilt anywhere. It does have a little space, so you can hang his lightsaber on his belt, which is awesome. The soft goods are also done much, much better on this version. This is the New Hope version of Vader. The first Vader that Black Series did was Return of the Jedi. I'm not a huge fan of soft goods, but for the most part, I like how his cape hangs. I just think this is a great figure, and again, it all comes down to the helmet. And the other reason I think that I made Darth Vader my favorite Star Wars Black figure is because A, it's such an improvement over Hasbro's first attempt, which is kind of unfair, you know. I like him a lot because he's so much better than the first version, but the other reason is all the big import companies, the high-end companies that make Star Wars figures, talking about Reveltech, Mafex, Figuarts, even compared to those high-end $80 figures, which I love, by the way, and for the most part usually are superior to mass market stuff, I really feel like the Hasbro Black Series Darth Vader, their second version, is the best Darth Vader, even compared to all the import companies. So just the fact that a figure that costs between $20 and $30 can compete with those high-end import companies. And when I talk about import companies, I'm not talking about Hot Toys and their 1/6 scale figures, which pretty much blow everything away. Just purely in the 6-inch realm, I feel this is the best Darth Vader figure out there, and that's why I am naming him my #1 Star Wars The Black Series figure. So definitely pick this guy up. He did come, there's a version of this figure that comes with the big 40th anniversary backdrop. However, he was also a regular release figure in the first wave of the Last Jedi Black Series figures, so that's why he is included in this list. So definitely, if you want a great 6-inch Darth Vader figure, I highly recommend this guy, and I highly hope that you enjoyed this video. I had some camera problems which kind of distracted me, so the very skillful ability to count down from 8 to 1, I may have gotten confused on a couple of my numbers, but hopefully you got the gist. So again, thanks a lot for watching. Like I said, hope you enjoyed this video. Can't wait for The Last Jedi. And in the comments, let me know what I'm wrong about. Let me know what your favorite, your top 8 Star Wars Black figures are. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, see ya.